Yakoob, and I'm an immigration attorney. I've been practicing for over 20 years. I did my master's at the LSE in international relations. I sort of did law degree and the master's, and it's I would say my master's has informed my choice of work in immigration because it's very international. I get to work with international folks all day long, and I really, really find that satisfying. So now I'm going to jump into my presentation because I would love to give you guys some ideas on visa options for starting or taking your companies to the United States. So let me do the share screen. And then let me make sure it's in slideshow. Okay, so let's do here. Okay, so this is what I'll be covering really quickly today. I'll just talk very quickly about visiting the United States for business, because that may be all you need to do to grow your company into the United States or oversee it. I'll also talk about working as an international student. Perhaps there's value in studying here while growing a network, and the work authorization you could get to start a company here or grow a business. I'll go over the most common temporary employment-based visas and which ones are ideally suited for starting a business. And then I'll talk about the International Entrepreneur Parole Program, which is really in its infancy, and there's not a lot of visibility on how these are being implemented. It's quite new, but I'll also talk about that. And then we can open it up to questions and answers. Okay, so just really quickly again, for a lot of you who are thinking about starting a business in the United States, you can come and do your due diligence on the visitor visa. It's B1, that's the business visa that you would apply for at the US consulate, unless you are from a visa waived country. That means you participate in ESTA. So if you are coming on the ESTA, it's for 90 days. If you're coming on the B1, you have 6 months, which can be, more spacious in terms of time for doing your due diligence, finding, where you want to incorporate, meeting with accountants, lawyers, getting an office, all of these factors that go into setting up a company. Most of my clients do it on the visitor visa, or they're students here already in the United States. The one drawback on the ESTA is that when you come in for 90 days, you cannot extend. So you have to leave North America. You can't go to Canada or Mexico and then just jump back into the US to get another 90 days. You have to leave North America. So back to Europe, South America, and then you can come in to get that full 90 days. So again, just in terms of, for some of my clients, 3 months is not enough. If that's the case, to do the due diligence, to set things up, to look at things, then you might want to get the B1 visa. Those of you who are nationals of countries that require a visa to enter the US, you'd need to get this anyway. And again, this is also a visa you could use if, let's say, you've got the operations running in the US, but you don't want to relocate here. You can be coming as a visitor to oversee your business, okay? Another way to think about starting a business in the United States is studying here. This way you get a degree or a certificate, and you build a network, you're on the ground, and you would get work authorization. Generally what happens is at the end of your studies of a degree, so it's not like studying English or a summer course, it has to be an academic year. At the end of an academic year, or if, let's say, at the end of your degree program, you could get 1 year of work authorization, and it's called OPT, and it's very flexible. You can found a company, you can volunteer, you can work, as a freelancer. It's very flexible, and a lot of my clients actually have studied here. They've met a group of people with whom they want to found a company, and then they use their OPT to really to build that company. Now, if you are a graduate of a STEM field, you actually get an extra 2 more years of work authorization. So you could do a degree that's 18 months, let's say, or an MBA and more MBAs are basically asking the government to be classified as a STEM field because it's very, let's say there's a lot of quant and math in the MBA program, then they're essentially, you'd essentially get 3 years of work authorization, which could be great for you to take that company off the ground. Okay, so that's the F1 visa. That's is for international students. Now, in terms of temporary employment-based visas, these are visas which would require a sponsor in the United States. That sponsor could even be your company that you found, but let's talk about what that would look like. So one visa that is great for you to bring your business to the United States is the L1 visa, but this requires that you already have a business in another country. And so what you're doing is you're essentially now creating an international company because you have entities in more than one country. So that's how the US immigration statute defines an international company, is that you are operating in 2 or more countries. Okay, so the L1 visa is great if you already have a business or organization in the United States and you want to expand to, I'm sorry, if you already have one outside, so let's say you're in the UK and you already have your entity and you now want to set up an affiliate or subsidiary in the US. You could do that after you've worked for at least 1 year abroad. You would also need to come to work in a particular capacity. So either as a manager, executive, or a worker with specialized knowledge. You can use the L to open the new office. Okay, so let's say you've got your entity in the UK, you're setting up the office in the US, you can get the L1 visa to set it up. It's called a new office L. Okay, so this is a great visa. Again, if you've already got an entity in the, anywhere in the world, want to bring it to the US, the L1 visa is great. The one, again, remember, you need to have been working overseas for that company for 1 year. Now, you also need to maintain that overseas operation when you come to the US to either start or grow the business. Okay, so that's the L visa. I'm going to quickly give you some just nuts and bolts. Oh, sorry, hold on. It's, for some reason, it's not moving forward. Just a second. Oh, there we go. So just filing details in terms of, budgeting for these visa options. It's about $1,000 to get the government filing fees paid. If you want a decision in under 15 calendar days, it's $2,500 extra. It's called premium processing. In terms of timeline and planning, if you're coming in as a interest, you should be playing an active and central role in the operations of the business. So you can't just be an investor, and you have to show proof of funding. And the amounts are for investment, you have to show $250,000. And if you're, startup working with government, it's $100,000. And the last thing I want to say about the investment by investors, it can't be friends or family. So your investor can't be a relative. There's actually very specific requirements for who qualifies as an investor. This is just a slide on the filing procedure, but the key thing to keep in mind is that there's a 5-year maximum to the international entrepreneur parole status. A lot of us lawyers say is, okay, we would move them over to the O to get them more time. We would get them green cards based on extraordinary ability. There are workarounds for this 5-year limit. So if you want to stay longer than 5 years, there are backup options. And I just want to close by saying I do have a podcast series on the different visa categories. So if there's one that speaks to you, you can just look on my website. They're pretty small. I have some interviews with folks. My most recent one was with someone who got a green card based on extraordinary ability, his journey from student, O1, and then the green card. So you can check those out. And then I'd love it if you could stay in touch. This is my team, and we're all here to help you as needed. All right, I'm done.